A very good evening, and thanks for joining me today. Um, in this world, we come in completely clueless about what we should be doing because there's no instruction manual for this world. And then what happens is that somewhere along the way, people convince us that the purpose of life is something that we don't care about. And then we start creating some kind of resistance towards our own lives, and then we suffer a lot even though we've gone and achieved everything that we thought that we should achieve. We end up feeling unfulfilled, dissatisfied, and miserable. So I thought that I should transmit the message that I got from my guru, and that's why I'm doing this whole series of transmissions. And this is the first one. In this one, we're going to talk about what our purpose on earth is. And believe me, a lot of philosophers have discussed this to no end, and really uh, there is so much of disagreement about this. It seems as though that anything can be our purpose, but it's not so, because our body has a particular form, and this form is only suited for a particular purpose. And it is a fantastic form that we have. What the human body is capable of can be seen now because of the internet. We see people from all over the world doing incredible things with their body, which we can't even imagine. I myself couldn't imagine about that I could do all the things that I'm able to do now after training with my guru. Because before that, I was just an entrepreneur, and I don't know why he chose me, because I used to think, I mean, now I know, but back then I used to think, why did he choose me to come and teach? And you know somewhere we've confused ourselves so badly. We've separated materialism and spiritualism as if these two things don't go together, and then we're sitting around feeling miserable because there is not enough spirituality in our material life, and there isn't enough materialism in our spiritual life, and so we're really suffering really bad. Okay, so going on to the purpose, I prepared a small slide, not slides, but mind map, so that it'll stay in your mind. Okay, let me present that to you. Right. Okay, great. So you can see my presentation now. Getting back to it. Welcome to Earth. What is the purpose of life? Okay. So this is according to what my guru taught me. Okay, it's not from some book. All right. So please don't start referring some book and tell me that I'm wrong. I'm not interested. Okay. So this universe is in its infancy, and it will grow into a Brahman. And we don't really know what a Brahman is, but it's like a god. Okay. And that's why it's called Brahmanda. Now, this earth is like an immune gland in the universe. It's one of many immune glands. There are so many planets, and which are capable of having life, and they do have life, and they do evolve into human or humanoid species. And these species that evolve to look something like humans are the immune cells of the Brahmanda. And our job is, to safeguard. We are warrior cells. Our job is to be warriors. Doesn't matter what you do for a profession, but you are a warrior, and that's what your body is designed to do. It's designed to protect. Okay, and that is why we have this brain and these hands and the ability to develop elaborate weapons to protect. But that's not the kind of protection we need to give. We need to protect the ecosystem, and we need to serve life around us. Okay, our purpose is to preserve ecosystems across the universe, and if we fail to do this, we get recycled. Like the thymus gland. Okay, let me tell you about the thymus gland. There are so many immune cells being produced in the body, and the thymus gland produces them and trains them, gives them little projects to do. And if they fail at it, they get recycled, they get killed. And that's the cycle of birth and death that our scriptures are advising us to escape. Okay, this is called mukti. And you can only get mukti when you're alive. Okay, I know this goes against everything that you've heard, but you cannot get mukti if you are, I'm sorry, okay, you can't get mukti when you're dead. But we've been told the reverse. We've been told that, you can attain mukti when you're dead. But there's only one mukti, and that is called Jivan Mukti. Okay? So when the whole of human beings on this planet are able to leave this planet, or have developed the technology to leave this planet and serve other ecosystems, that's called moksha. Then this planet achieves moksha together. And that's when we don't become citizens of the earth, we become citizens of the universe. All right? We cannot attain this moksha business alone. Everybody has to get these capabilities. All right? So we can either serve like warriors or we can get recycled. And that is what my guru told me is the purpose of life. So, you know, this goes against everything that you've been taught, that we have no purpose, that things are just, random here, things are just happening. These are very rudimentary and primitive ways of understanding what's happening here. But when I lived with my guru, I saw that his body is completely different. He's a Mahasiddha, okay, which means he has mastered the Ashta Mahasiddhis. And in the Siddha path, we travel up the Siddhis. There are 8 Siddhis, and they are in 8 levels. Starting from Bhukti Siddhi, we go all the way up to Anima Siddhi. Anima Siddhi is the highest Siddhi, and we are able to create miracles of uh, protection. And that is what we are here to do. That's what our body is designed to do. All right. So I'm going to get into what these siddhis are. I'm going to tell you about it. And later, please think, if you have any questions, ask it now, because you won't get me live again to answer these questions. So if you have questions about this, just however stupid it may be, just ask. If it's very stupid, I will not answer it. Okay. I will only answer questions which will help you learn, but not questions which show me how much you will have learned. That I'm not interested. Okay. So yes, let's get on to it. Here, I'm talking now about Siddha Yoga, which is the yoga of accomplishment. Siddhi means accomplishment. And what are these accomplishments? Siddhas are the masters of these accomplishments. What have they accomplished? They have mastered the 8 Mahasiddhis. Okay, so we'll go from the bottom up. All right. Bhukti Siddhi is the first Siddhi, and it's a deep understanding and mastery of reward chemicals. And this leads to health and energy. What does this mean? Reward chemicals? There are certain reward chemicals in the body, like oxytocin or serotonin, dopamine. They are the reward chemicals, okay? Then there is endorphin, there's adrenaline. These are all different kinds of neurotransmitters that are there in the body. And these put us into different states of ability. And if you master these, if you understand what these are, and if you are able to master them, you've got Bhukti Siddhi. And this, many of my students have achieved. Okay? Bhukti Siddhi is not that difficult to achieve. It just means giving up of stories that you are not powerful, giving up of any story in which you have to produce lousy chemicals in your body. And if you keep good stories in your body, you can produce good chemicals. That means whatever thoughts you are thinking, you can change your health, you can change your body itself, because thoughts affect what kind of protein is produced by your DNA in your cells. So if you have the right kind of narrative that's going on, I'm not saying don't have narrative, but having the right kind of narrative going on inside your mind leads to Bhukti Siddhi. That means you know exactly how to release dopamine. For example, dopamine gets released whenever we plan something, and again in massive amounts when we finish the plan. If you don't finish the plan, then there's a massive dopamine deficit, and then we'll have to get our dopamine from some other source, like fantasies that we make up. Okay, that's a great way to get dopamine for free without doing the work. But a siddha knows that which is legal dopamine and which is illegal dopamine, and they avoid the illegal dopamine, right? If I just imagine myself in a relationship with this very beautiful woman, I can release dopamine. But that's not the real dopamine because she's not in a relationship with me. And then what happens? Your brain tells you, hey, this got released by mistake, and it takes it all out back. Okay. That's like, it's called reuptake, right? Same thing happens with serotonin. Serotonin is a status chemical which you get after you've done some kind of accomplishment, like you've become an accomplished musician, and now you will have certain higher level of serotonin than normal people, because that is also the leadership chemical. So people with higher levels of serotonin become leaders. You just want to follow them. You just want to listen to what they're saying. It's a chemical of charisma, and so on and so forth, right? So all of these qualities are there. Serotonin is very rewarding if you have the right amounts of it for the right things. But if you produce it illegally, and you can do this by saying that somebody who's in a superior position, if you say I'm better than them, if you find fault with them, okay, if just finding fault with someone, you can release serotonin. But then the brain will come and check, like, are you really superior, or did we just release all this serotonin by mistake? And when the brain understands you've released it by mistake, it takes it all back. That's the reuptake. And then you don't have serotonin running in your body. And then you feel very depressed. You feel like I'm no good, I'm good for nothing, I'm worthless, and all that kind of feeling. That is not what a Siddha does. A Siddha knows how to release serotonin, work hard, achieve something, and then release serotonin. Okay? So, like I said, Bhakti Siddhi is very simple. Just you got to be honest with yourself. You got to get in touch with your conscience, which tells you whether you really deserve something or don't. And if you're in doubt whether you really deserve something or don't, then you'll be in a problem. You'll start releasing serotonin in the wrong way, and you'll get messed up, right? So each of the reward chemicals, there's a way to release it. You need to release adrenaline and cortisol in a proper way as the day goes by. You got to get excited about the right things, and you got to reject the wrong things. But if you start getting excited about the wrong things, like, I don't know, you know, something that is not requiring you to put that much energy into it. Like, for example, let's correct this wrong person on the internet, and you get onto Twitter, and then you're releasing all this adrenaline for that, then it's not going to really work out. But if you were releasing adrenaline to work out, and then or to play a sport or something like that, that's the right place to release it. Or if you are going on a long drive, you need a lot of adrenaline to stay awake and to stay alert so that you don't crash into other cars. That's a good way, a positive way to release adrenaline. Okay. So you need to manage all these neurochemicals, and that is Bhakti Siddhi. That's it. Then you will be able to reward yourself. You'll be a happy person, number one. That's the first thing you'll be. You'll be a happy person. You don't have to go around and correct anybody. And do you know how many people correct me? I keep deleting their comments. It gives me a headache sometimes. Okay. But because I have Bhakti Siddhi, I don't feel low with all that criticism. I'm like, it's not worth investing any adrenaline into. And like, I don't have any adrenaline for it. Yeah, it's called not giving a shit, which is a very important skill to have. Okay. About the right things. You need to give a shit about the right things and not give a shit about something that is of no consequence in your life. That somebody passed a comment and now the whole world has misunderstood. We kind of over exaggerate our importance. We think everyone is watching our life. They're not. I've been trying to get people to watch my videos for 10 years, but they don't. Okay. So don't give yourself that much importance. You have to make videos for 20 years before people start taking you seriously, like Gary Vee, you know. Okay. All right. So moving on. Let's go to the next Siddhi, which is called Prakamya Siddhi, which is the Siddhi of unshakable will. And this also some of my students have managed to develop. So this is the second Siddhi. And if you have unshakable will, it leads to dependability. And that's one of the most important things. You want to be a dependable person in this world. If you're one of those people that no one can depend on, your word means nothing, then you will be surrounded with sorrow. A lot of things will go wrong in you, and you will not have even bhakti siddhi. These two siddhis come together. Prakamya siddhi is the siddhi that when you say something, you'll do it, and that's what it is. You're so dependable, and that's it. Your word is gold if you give your word. Okay, so that's called Prakama Siddhi. It's the second Siddhi, and it comes with a lot of meditation. It's not easy if you don't know meditation. If a guru hasn't given you the mantra to control your mind, mantra, mind control, traya control, mind. Okay, so if the guru hasn't given you that mind control, you'll never be able to control your mind, and you will have a wavering will. So it's intense on sometimes, and suddenly it fizzles out. Okay, if any of you have got that, you need yoga, and you need the yoga of accomplishment. Can you see how the siddhis are tying into material accomplishment as well? Do you think somebody who's in control of their bhakti, that is, their reward chemicals, and somebody who's in control of prakamya, which is the iron will to do something, the determination. When you decide to do something, you're going to do it. Doesn't matter how long it takes, you're going to do it. When you have that kind of bulldog focus, do you think you will not have material accomplishments? You'll have a ton of them, and you won't even care about them because you keep on accomplishing stuff. That's the spiritual part of it. Karma neva adhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana, which means you have authority over your actions. You can do whatever you want, but not on the fruits of those actions. You can't control the fruits of those actions. You put your actions out into the world, and it takes how long it takes. You can't hasten it, you can't make it fast. And this is where the entire business world is going wrong. They're not able to understand that everything takes its own time. They want to get into some kind of weird competition and kill everybody. This is very good. It's an application of the iron will. But at some point, you're not understanding that you need to let go of your accomplishments. It's just a boat. You row it, you get to the other side, there are more opportunities open for somebody who's accomplished something. It's those opportunities you're after. It's not to carry your accomplishment on your head. After you cross the river, no need to carry the boat on your head. Forget that you've accomplished anything, and then start again from wherever you are. Because your serotonin levels would have gone up at that point. Okay. So it all ties in with material accomplishment, and spirituality and materialism are not different. Let's understand that first. Okay. It's a big lesson for many people. They can't get it. Okay. So for those watching on mobile, let me try to make this bigger. Yeah. Okay. So the third siddhi is called Vashitva Siddhi, which is the ability to control your emotions. Okay. And this leads to drive. So, you know what? As an entrepreneur, you know how many days I feel like working out of 7 days? 0 days. Okay. And the remaining days, what happens? How do I get to work when I don't feel like working? Like, who wants to work? Like, nobody wants to work. I just want to lie in bed and watch some videos or read a book or something. But I have to work because somebody will ping me saying, I'm dying now, please help me. And then I have to help them, which is what I do. Okay, I heal people. So when I'm doing that, I have to wake up and I have to have the right kind of emotions now because, I can't spoil. Already the person is in problem, they're dying, and then they want my help. Now, if I come to it with the wrong emotion, I'm just going to push them further down, right? I have to be very careful. I have to be very gentle and I have to be very sensitive about what I say. Okay. So I have to have the right kind of caring emotions all the time. So that is a siddhi. And this also many of my students have achieved. It's not difficult. The first four siddhis you can achieve in a year. The next four siddhis will take some time. Because I'll tell you what there are. They're quite incredible and it takes a lot of meditation. And you have to sort out all of your material problems so that you can sit and work on these siddhis. Okay? That's how you achieve your purpose in this life. All right. So let me show you the slides again. All right. So now you've understood this siddhi, which is uh, Vashitva Siddhi, to be able to control emotions. Even the fourth Siddhi, which is called Ishitva Siddhi, is to be able to make requests of the Panchabhutas and have them honored. Okay? So, what are the five Bhutas? Akash, Vayu, Agni, Apas, and Bhumi. Sky, wind, fire, water, and earth. These are the five bhutas. Bhutas means the five great spirits. Okay, Pancha Mahabhutas there, not just bhutas. All right. So these five spirits, this leads to metaphysical powers. Do you think you're going to achieve anything without metaphysical powers? Do you know how hard it is to get a landlord in Mysore to pay you back the deposit when you leave the house? For example, have to use my metaphysical powers for this, otherwise he's never going to pay me back. Do you know how hard it is to get SBI to allow you to transfer 10 lakh rupees to someone? It takes 6 days. You need metaphysical powers if you want to send it in one day. It's not possible. Do you know how hard it is to get customs to release something uh, which has got stuck? When you're an entrepreneur, you need metaphysical powers. Without those powers, something and all will happen. Okay? And you need blessings of the Pancha Mahabhutas because they protect you from the effects of the nine planets. The nine planets are throwing up whirlwinds of different kinds. They're also evolving, okay? So they're throwing up different kinds of whirlwinds of energies, and when they get behind the sun, they get into the sun, it gets magnified and comes to us along the sun rays. If the planet is in the same house, it starts sending those rays, and those rays, they affect us unless you have good friendship with the uh, Panchamahabhutas, which is Ishitva Siddhi. You'll not have the metaphysical powers to control it, and you'll run out of time. A lot of foreigners are struggling with visas to stay in India. A lot of people are struggling with land deals that somebody's put a case, somebody's third wife has put a case which will not stand, but it's delaying it, and you can't really sell that land, and that money is stuck. you know so if you don't have Ishitva Siddhi, you can't release all these things. And also in your body, sometimes you go and eat something because it's your birthday, and then suddenly you have all sorts of gas everywhere and the vayu is too much and you don't know what to do. If you're friends with the vayus, you can say, "Why, Bhagwan, please calm this down." There are mantras for that, and there are mudras for that to control it, which you can learn in the Siddha Yoga path. And then we learn these metaphysical ways in which we're able to change the moods of people around us. That's Ishitva Siddhi. Okay? Great. The next Siddhi that exists in the Siddha path is the Garima Siddhi. Okay? Garima means to be able to astral project, but not any kind of astral projection. Astral projection into a star, starting from our sun. Okay. Now, what does it lead to? It leads to cosmic perspectives, and this is very important because people on the earth are only thinking of earthly perspectives. But when we go to the star, we see our earth from the perspective of the sun. It's a completely different perspective that we can understand. This is called Garima Siddhi. Okay. Whatever others have told you about these siddhis, just take all that old knowledge, spill it out, wash that vessel, and then come back and fill it with this new knowledge. You'll also be at peace, and you'll not ask questions which are meant to teach me. Okay, I'll only entertain questions to learn. All right. And if you have any questions already, please put it in the box and I'll answer it in the comment box. Okay. So now the next Siddhi, which is called Mahima Siddhi, it is to be aware of stars and galaxy, and to influence their paths itself and their radiation and everything. It's a big deal. Okay, this leads to cosmic leadership, which means you can create cosmic events. Now, you don't even know what this is and why you should learn it, right? First, you need to sort out your material life. So, I would suggest that you start learning from Bhukti Siddhi, then Prakamya, then Vashitva, then Ishitva, then Garima. Okay, I can teach you till Ishitva in 1 year, but from here it takes time. This might take you 2, 3 years, whatever. This might take you even more time, 4 to 5 years, maybe. Okay. Lagima Siddhi is to align our atoms to be able to fly, teleport, and float. This will take you no less than 10 years to practice. Okay. But your physical body, it turns into an atomic body, which is called Vajradeha. And once you have this Vajradeha, it's a body of lightning. Okay. You can fly, teleport, and float. That means it leads to fuel-less intergalactic travel. This is technology which has already been existent in this planet for many centuries. And human beings have misused it. A whole lot of things have happened, and we all got recycled. And so that's why we are back to being monkeys, and then we have to evolve ourselves again. Okay, this is our chance to evolve properly this time, all right? Because we've created the technology before we evolve spiritually. We've evolved in technologically evolved, all right? And then finally comes the biggest siddhi of all, Anima Siddhi, is to be aware of atoms and waves and to be able to influence them. So this leads to a creator status. That means you have become a Brahman yourself. All right. Then you can go around saying Aham Brahmasmi. Don't do it before that. Okay. All right. So if Shankaracharya said Aham Brahmasmi, he had probably reached Anima Siddhi. Okay. It's not for us to say. So the siddhis are mastered in the reverse order, right? From bhakti to anima. All right. So now you have a clear picture of what Siddha Yoga is and what you're supposed to be doing on the earth. Okay. Preserve ecosystems across the universe. And if we fail, we get recycled. And that is the cycle of birth and death that everybody is stuck in. All right. That's it for today. That's all I wanted to tell you. But if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer. So I'm going to stick around for another 30 seconds. Does anybody have any questions? All right. So in the upcoming videos, I'm going to be talking a lot about these in detail. I'm going to get into the whole path of accomplishment as a spiritual practice. Okay. Don't let anybody tell you that spirituality is separate from materialism. You have to be materially, socially, and emotionally and mentally accomplished if you want to be spiritually accomplished. And the spiritual siddhis will start only from the fourth one. So the first four siddhis are material in nature. And once you have the material siddhis, that's when the spiritual siddhis start. That's when you can start caring about something other than the earth. Okay. I'm not surprised that there are no questions, but I'm just going to wait for some more time. If there are any questions, please ask. If nobody has any questions, at least tell me what you learned, or if you got value, type GV in the chat box. All right, GVNQ, got value, but no questions, if that is what you wrote. Okay, so how many of you are now struggling thinking this is my life's purpose and whatever, whatever? Hmm? Yeah, questions are coming. Very good. All right. So here's a question from Facebook user. It's very commonly preached that everything here is Maya. How should we look at the reality? Okay, very good question. Now, Maya has gotten a very negative connotation, but Maya is Maya is the name of the goddess Tripura Sundari. Okay, it's the name of Shakti herself. Shakti herself is Maya. So uh, instead of giving it a godlike status, we've reduced it to something that we should avoid. So very mistrustful of Shakti. We feel she's going to cheat us and whatever, whatever. Okay, but it's not so. There is a very clear path in Siddha to there is a very clear guidance. Okay, starting from the top here, this is called Dvadasha, all the way to your anus, there is a nadi, and this nadi is called the Shiva Shakti nadi. If you're able to tune into it as a practice, sit and tune into it and try to feel it. Okay, this much you can do every day. Just try to feel a column of light from the top of your head. Dvadasha means 12. Four fingers, and four more fingers. Wherever that comes, that point is called Dvadasha. So from there, one straight line all the way down to your anus. Okay. It's not down your spine, it's down the center of your body. You need to try and develop the nerves around this so that you can feel it. And you can feel it, it's a pulsating place. This pulsating place is your conscience. If you're allowing your conscience to guide you, you'll never get caught up in so called Maya of your own mind. There is Mahamaya, and there is a Maya which our mind is capable of. Don't get caught in the Maya of the mind, but get caught in the Maya of Shiva Shakti, because that is what the universe is about. So when you tune into this one true path inside you, and this light never dies, no matter how much of a criminal you are or how many sins you've done, this light is going to be alive in everybody. So focus on this light. This is the first Siddha teaching, okay? And you'll be able to always know what is the truth. I have this great difficult decision to make. Should I break up or should I stay in this relationship? If you tune into this light, just sit quietly for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, as long as it takes. There'll be a sudden point of release where you're clear. Either I need to make this work, or I need to throw it away. You'll become clear about it without any doubt. How would you like that ability? Practice meditation. I've taught you this one meditation. Take it as a gift from the lineage of Siddhas, from my Guru, Mahavatar Babaji, and practice this one Kriya. If you practice on your Shiva Shakti Nadi, you can know what is right and what is wrong for you. Nobody else has to tell you. Isn't that amazing? Okay, so you'll never get caught in Maya if you do that kind of thing. Thanks for the good question. Okay, when do selfish people become selfless, says another Facebook user. So, uh, selfish people become selfless when they realize the futility of the selfishness. Okay, I don't know from which motivation you're asking this, but the truth is that you can't make someone selfish or selfless. That's not up to you, it's up to them. All you can do is point the way. Sometimes they may bite your finger when you point the way. I got used to it so much. I'm like, hey, this is the way to be selfless. Kachak, people bite my finger. And I'm like, okay, okay, okay. I point with my elbow now. Okay. So you can't do it unless someone's paid you fees and they're really sincere and they're going to learn from you. They're not going to learn from you. Before I teach someone, I say, have they paid me fees? No, nothing. They're not registered. I don't have to teach them. It's a relief. When suddenly you get this urge to teach somebody, you know, you should be selfless. Now, if it's affecting you, it's simply because you don't have the skills to not be affected by it. Okay? So let's say you're a father and you find that your son is very selfish and he's only doing stuff. You don't have the skills to not be affected by it. You don't have emotional control. You don't have communication skills to understand why your son is doing something to get to the bottom of it. And you don't have um, the I don't know, leadership skills to run your family in a proper way, but you don't want to accept that. You want to jump on your son. Okay? So that's the problem. But when you focus on your conscience, like I taught you, you'll come to know, I need to learn a lot of skills. This person is so beautiful. The person who says, I need to learn a lot more and I'm failing at this. Yeah. It's a good place to be. Okay? So whoever's failing, pat yourself on the back. You're doing very well. All right? So selfish people become selfless at the point when they realize that their selfishness is not bringing profit. There's no other way in which they will realize. Okay? If they're getting profit out of selfishness, they'll continue to be selfish. So it's up to you to learn the communication and leadership skills and what we call in Siddha Yoga upaya. If you have upaya, which is the tool of the guru, you can create situations in which the person will realize. But if you're not a guru, then you'll be too afraid to make those because they seem very radical. The ideas might come to you, but to implement them, you'll be like, no, 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 I can't do this, out of my character. But when you're a guru, you go all the way. Whatever happened, you will go all the way and you will implement it. And you'll make sure that the situation is created where the person learns. And sometimes, even when the situation is created, the person doesn't learn. So you can't control this. Okay? You control your selfishness. You understand that by serving yourself, you're getting recycled. But by serving other people, you're becoming a protector cell or a warrior cell. All right. Good. No more questions. Okay. I've been wanting to learn this for a long time. Thank you. Great. All right. So we're calling it a day. And, I was supposed to go live tomorrow at 9 a.m., but consider this that live because I'm traveling tomorrow. But next Sunday at 9 a.m., I'm going to be back and I'll tell you in advance what I'm going to talk about. And we'll have a poll in the group and, we'll find out. Now, those of you who are watching this on YouTube, if you want to be part of this poll and you want to control the direction in which this podcast is going, then I suggest that you get onto my Facebook group, which is called the Yoga of Accomplishment. Okay. So you go to facebook.com/group/yoga of accomplishment, I think. I'll tell you the exact URL. Let me copy it and give it to you. Yeah. Yeah. It's called Yoga of Accomplishment. That's all you need to look up. I hope you'll be able to go there. Make sure that you sign into this group, because if you're here, then you'll get the ability to vote on the polls which control the direction of this series, the Yoga of Accomplishment. All right. So let me put that here for you. There you go. Okay. Yoga of Accomplishment. Go here, join the group, and then you'll get access to these. You can ask your heart out, ask any questions, okay, about your life, and I'll be happy to answer from the perspective of the Siddhas. And this is going to be a great opportunity for you and a great pleasure for me. So thank you very much once again for taking the interest to come here. Oh, one more question. Okay, wonderful. Can we make people realize that there is a purpose in life as we see people stuck with mundane tasks in life? Why are people busy in influencing other people's when they're not gurus? Like, don't bother. If you're not a guru, don't bother, okay? Look, work on yourself. When you reach what is called Vashitva Siddhi, people will start listening to you. They'll not listen to you before you got Vashitva Siddhi, okay? So there's Bhukti Siddhi, there's Prakama Siddhi, and the third stage, which is Vashitva Siddhi, which will take about a year or so, okay? That's when people start listening to you. And you need three pieces of information before your brain can come up with a plan to make them listen. The first piece of information is what is triggering them to be stuck in the mundane life? What is the trigger? Usually fear. They're afraid of failing in some way. They feel that, look, everything is going okay. Nobody's pointing fingers at me. From when I was born, I've been told that I'm an idiot. So now I just don't want to make any more mistakes. So that is why they're stuck in certain ways of doing things. We want to get them unstuck. You have to understand what is triggering them to stay stuck. And what do they see you as when they're triggered like that? Do they see you as somebody that is worth learning from? Have you done that work? You know, before you transmit something, you should get in front of a mic. Are you in front of a mic or are you standing somewhere in the crowd and transmitting? They can't hear you. You have to get to the mic. And what is the mic? Vashitva Siddhi. When you have Vashitva Siddhi, every word you say, even if it's soft, people will hear. And they'll be able to get unstuck. But should we unstuck the whole world? Is everyone not going to get recycled? Not true. Okay. So at some point, a lot of people are going to get recycled. Like the thymus gland produces millions of immune cells and only maybe 1,000 make it. Okay. So the best of the best will remain here on this earth as Jivan Muktas. The rest are going to age and die and get recycled and wonder why, what happened. So it's time to wake up to our purpose in life. Okay, good. All right. I hope I've answered all questions. Everybody, please get on this. Okay. And, just above the video, whenever I'm going live, there'll be something that says allow StreamYard to access your information so that they can show you who you are. Show me who you are. Okay. Don't worry. They don't take your name and sell it to credit card companies and insurance companies. Okay. So Sunflower is asking, Guruji, the sound, the raga, and the color meditation that you taught us, is it enough to defeat diabetes if done sincerely every day? Of course it is. Absolutely. Okay? Anything I teach you is enough, man. It's coming from the Siddha path. Now, I'll tell you something, guys. This is very important. Okay, this is Padma. Okay. All right. So, Padma, something very important which I've told you right in the beginning in the first boot camp when you came is that the story of the locks, I've got three keys that look absolutely the same. One of them is the right key for my door. But it's night and I can't see which is the right key and all that. So I put the first key and I try to turn it. I face some resistance. I give up. I put the second key and I turn it. I get some resistance and I give up. I put the third key again. I got resistance. And I think this is the wrong key. But then I'm like, wait a minute. One of these has to be the key. So then I take out the light from my mobile and I see the number on this. It's 93. I see the number on the lock. That's also 93. Then I know this is the key. I'm sure about it. This is the key. And then, even if I find resistance, I'll go through with it and the lock will open. It's the same with your diabetes. Okay? If you have doubts, is this the key or is this not the key, then the smallest resistance you'll feel, you'll stop practicing. This is getting to you now, at least, after like so many months. I hope it's getting to you. Okay? And to everybody else listening, you have to first get certainty before you start a practice. You have to be certain this will help me. If you're not certain, don't do it. Okay? It's not going to help you if you're not certain. Your efforts are going to be half hearted. You never put your full efforts, will you? Okay? So if there's resistance, it's only simply because there's resistance from inside. I don't know why. Simply because you're not doing the Shiva Shakti meditation and focusing on your central nadi. You focus on it, it will start getting brighter and brighter. And you'll understand that I should not spend my time in these stories of victimhood. The more I get into a certain story of victimhood, then I'll find resistance. And it's natural to find resistance because you've been filled with teachings that are to resist the world and to keep yourself safe and tend to avoid and just lose interest. Okay? When you get a call and they say it's Bajaj Allianz, then what do you say? Oh yeah, tell me the whole pitch. I want to hear about what the premiums are. You don't give a shit, right? So you say, I'm sorry, I'm not interested, and you hang up. You have to learn to do the same with your resistances. Resistance one comes, Mahishasur one. Okay? And then Mahishasur says, Padma, you shouldn't be practicing this because you have to have some resistance. And you say, I'm not interested. And you continue your practice. Everyone has had to face resistance. Do you know Buddha had to face Mara? Jesus had to face Satan. Padma has to face slight resistance about her diabetes. Face it, no. You come here to do easy things, otherwise you'll get recycled. You want to get recycled, get recycled. Okay? So think about it, everybody, whatever you heard now, it's relevant to everyone. Okay? Get it once and for all, and then you'll be free forever. You won't need customer service from me. Okay? All right. So thank you very much. I'm going to close today. It's been 45 minutes. I talk a lot. Okay. So I'll see you guys in the next video. It's going to be fun. Next Sunday, 9 a.m. Don't do anything. If guests are coming, send them back. Okay, be here because you learn something amazing. All right. Thank you very much. Have a great night. Thank you all for being here and being you.